When I attended the 2025 World Championships in Anaheim, beyond meeting all my amazing friends in the community, celebrating the Pokemon franchise at the biggest event of the year, and getting to meet fans of the channel, I had two goals in mind for how to commemorate my time here. Hunt cool shiny Pokemon themed to the event and turn them into Ribbon Masters. If you're curious about what a Ribbon Master is, it's a Pokemon that has earned every ribbon and mark available to that individual, kind of like achievement hunting across the series but personalized to a single Pokemon. As an example, to start, let's Ribbon Master the Toedscool that was given out to attendees at the event. And as an added challenge, I want to Ribbon Toedscool in the 3 days before Worlds ends on Sunday. Speaking of added challenges, I've been asked to assemble today's PokeDoku as well. Many of the Pokemon featured in this video can serve as potential answers on this particular grid, so see if you can figure out who goes where. After redeeming the code card on the first day of Worlds, we receive a Toedscool with the event ribbon. This ribbon isn't obtainable in normal gameplay, and appears most often on Pokemon that are given away in person. As a Pokemon that can only go to the Paldea region, there are 4 ribbons and 3 marks for Toedscool to earn. The first is the Best Friends ribbon, obtainable in Cascarafa if our Pokemon has maximum friendship. First, I gave Toedscool a Soothe Bell in order to boost any friendship gains, before feeding 53 bottles of vitamins, which raised friendship and will help with another ribbon in a moment. From there, ham and butter sandwiches offer a quick way to any Pokemon's heart, and so after a few minutes in a picnic we can pick up our first ribbon. One short flight to Levincia nets us our second ribbon by speaking to this lady in the park, as feeding those vitamins maxed out Toedscool's effort values, making him eligible for the effort ribbon. Moving on to some of the earnable marks, we'll send Toedscool out in Let's Go mode in order to earn the item finder mark. Each time he picks up an item on the overworld, there's a 1 in 100 chance for it to also award this mark. Unfortunately, this doesn't work in synchro mode, but we do get to enjoy Toedscool's goofy walking animation as we stroll around Chotakana. With our first earnable mark under our belt, we can fly back to Paldea to enter the Academy Ace tournament. As usual, we tear through the ranks of the tournament without much difficulty, using Choice Specs Terrapagos' Terra Starstorm to obliterate our opponents. After shattering Gita's Terra Flying King Gambit, we obtain the Paldea Champion ribbon on our party. With 2 marks and 1 ribbon to go, let's tackle one mark that I usually do with a Turbo Controller, the Gourmand mark. This mark is similar to the item finder mark in that it drops randomly when the trigger condition is met. In this case, every time a Pokemon eats a meal in Paldea. I suspect there's an off by 1 error in the drop rate, however, as instead of a clean 2 in 100 or 1 in 50 rate, it has a very strange 3 in 101 drop rate, making it the most common of the earnable marks. After a few shaved ices from Kitakami, Toedscool only has the hardest ribbon and the hardest mark left to go. But before I got to that last ribbon and mark, it was time for one of my all-time favorite activities at Pokemon events, lobby hangouts. Basically, someone will suggest we all hang out in one of the myriad hotel lobbies around the venue, just hanging out and shiny hunting and talking, and it's always an awesome time. After spending an hour or so printing out Pokedex entries for my friends with my Game Boy printer and getting extremely distracted by Blue Vector's Kendama skills, I decided to chip away at one of the hunts I had planned for this event. As a loose rule, I like to have a Pokemon plush that goes with each of my Ribbon Master Pokemon, and a Ribbon Master Pokemon to go with each of my plushes. And so knowing that there was a set of exclusive ones for Worlds, I had planned ahead of the event to hunt each of these mascot plush Pokemon: Machamp, Fennekin, and Jigglypuff. There was also a Pikachu plush, but I've already ribboned plenty of those guys. For our Machamp Ribbon Master, instead of getting one all the way from Generation 3, I decided on hunting a shiny Alpha in Legends Arceus. Both Machoke and Machamp spawn as fixed alphas in Hisui, with Machoke spawning in Ginkgo Landing in the Cobalt Coastlands, and Machamp on the arena's approach in the Alabaster Iceland. While it would be cool to hunt a Machamp directly, I opted to hunt the Machoke instead for one big reason: massive mass outbreaks can spawn on top of it. This might not seem useful at first, as a massive mass outbreak in Ginkgo Landing would prevent Machoke from spawning, but therein lies the key. Normally, when entering a map in Legends Arceus, all the Pokemon have already been generated, including their shininess, alpha status, IVs, and so on. If a massive mass outbreak appears over the normal spawner, however, the game will hold off on spawning that Pokemon until the massive mass outbreak has been dealt with. By having an MMO suppress Machoke's initial spawn and then clearing it out, a new Alpha Machoke will be created the next time Machoke's spawner is loaded in. This allows us to effectively soft reset this shiny Alpha Machoke, massively cutting down the time between seeing new spawns without having to run to the Machoke, fly back to camp, return to Jubilife, return to the Cobalt Coastlands, hope that an MMO didn't eat our spawn, and then repeating the process. With a combination of perfect Pokedex research for Machoke on top of the shiny charm, this gives each Alpha Machoke that spawns a 1 in 585.57 rate to be shiny. And while doing these blazing fast resets among all these gamers in the lobby, this happened.
Man.
Crazy flip.
Dude, messed up. I thought you were better than that.
Alright, so I thought you liked this.
Aren't you like married to one?
That's crazy.
No, that's okay. That's okay. Thank you. That's okay though.
I told you this is the worst one.
Yo, shiny alpha Machoke.
No, I actually.
Wait, Alpha?
Yep.
That's cool.
What the flip?
That was the biggest toast reaction I've ever heard.
Actually, yes. Okay, calm down, Toast.
Yeah, come
Yeah, sorry,
I'm going off the rails a little bit.
He's like, buddy, stop. Calm down.
Dude's worked up.
I'm releasing it.
Sir Toasty Toast?
Oh, nice. That's on
Yeah.
the Ribbons Discord, right?
Yep, I do a lot of ribbons.
This is like
Well,
exactly the same reaction I had.
Yeah.
Except I heard his voice and I went,
Toasty? Thank you so much. Your video was very helpful.
With our first mascot shiny obtained, after saying goodbye to all my friends at the lobby, I headed back to the hotel room and settled in for the night. The last mark that Toad School needs is the partner mark, which has a 1 in 100 drop rate every 10,000 steps the player takes. Since the trigger condition takes quite a while to achieve, the best we can do is have the game run in a circle over a long period of time. I didn't actually bring a rubber band large enough to do this, so I ended up having to fit my headphone cord underneath the joysticks in my hotel room, which you can see I'm struggling a little bit with in this recording. Hoping that seeing Miraidon in person earlier that day was a good omen, I went to sleep awaiting day 2. As I woke up Saturday morning, I went to check Toad School's marks, and unfortunately he hadn't earned a partner mark yet. But before I would get another long period of downtime to put more attempts in, we had some more shiny hunting to do. Hosted by Nora in the Future and Quick Panic, the Retro Shiny Challenge has been a recurring fan event at large Pokemon tournaments for many years. The goal of this event is to get as many shiny hunters as possible together to find as many full odds shiny Pokemon as we can in an hour. I really wanted to find a shiny here at Worlds during this event, and I pulled out all the stops. I brought not 1, not 2, but 4 controller modded DS systems. Paired with a 5th DS that acts as a transmitter, I can sync my inputs to all 4 consoles at once. As for who will be hunting, I've embarked on a quest to hunt the first 493 Pokemon in Generation 3 and 4 in order to populate my ultimate My Pokemon Ranch save file. To this end, I've been hunting down all the Pokemon that I can't find in the wild with the PokeRadar, as I've already hunted down every single species that can spawn with that item in a separate video. Going in a loose generational order, Sandshrew is one of the few species that can't be found with the PokeRadar even though its evolution can. Because of this, the best place to hunt Sandshrew is to buy them from the Goldenrod Game Corner in Soul Silver. And with 4 full parties of Sandshrew across 4 games, we can see 20 Sandshrew with each reset. With everything hooked up and me basically being rooted to this spot, we had 1 hour to find as many shinies as we could. Oh, you know, a famously unfailed shiny grappler.
Come on, let's get to 60K. We actually might break 60K. Yeah, we might get seriously lock it. Lock 32.
Shiny Sandshrew!
There we go. Oh, that's awesome! And it's caught, so we're good.
Shiny
It's game corner.
Let's go!
Dude, congrats!
Coming away from the event having somehow found one of the nearly a dozen shinies out of over 61,000 Pokemon encountered, I spent the night with a few other creators at a local gaming cafe called Requiem, where I began our second mascot hunt, Fennekin. For this, I've set up a Masada method hunt in Pokemon Y, using an English female Brixen from the Friend Safari caught in a timer ball paired with a male starter Brixen from a German playthrough that I happened to have started a couple years earlier to get Esper for a similar hunt. Putting them in the daycare together, not only do we get the maximum rate for eggs to spawn and a 1 in 512 shiny rate from the Masada method and Shiny Charm, but the eggs will also inherit the timer ball from their female parent, which is a great color match for shiny Fennekin. While I didn't find Fennekin while I was there, I had a ton of fun hanging out with my friends, and I did manage to find this shiny Varsity Jacket Pikachu in Pokemon Go. So there's one for those of you feeling robbed that there was a shiny Pikachu in the thumbnail when we won't be hunting one. Once again returning to the hotel, I set up Toadstool again to potentially earn the partner mark as I went to sleep before Championship Sunday. Waking up on Sunday, I immediately went to check on Toadstool, and thankfully he had obtained the partner mark while I was asleep. So with just one more ribbon to go, I decided to finish his ribbons while at the venue waiting for the arena to open. While I was wary of attempting to battle online with phone hotspot Wi-Fi, I had already reached Master Rank earlier in the month for Onox's Jumpluff. Doing this, we also get to see the unique firework animation that played on the rank battle menu during the World Championships. And luckily, the first opponent I paired against fell easily to my Miraidon Groudon team, earning Toadstool his final ribbon, the Master Rank ribbon, completing my goal of ribbon mastering Toadstool before the end of the event and giving him the title of Ribbon Master. Unfortunately, after deciding to join a side event with Legend Link and a box of Timbits where we drafted Pokemon cards and used what we picked up to build a team for a few rounds of VGC, the arena had reached capacity by the time the side event concluded. Instead opting to hang out in Hall C where the finals were being broadcast with Fex Collect, I hatched a few more boxes of Fennekin eggs before the 2025 World Championships came to an end. And after a night of partying with all my friends at a local pizza place and a morning spent with more friends at Disneyland where I put shiny Fennekin attempts in where I could, it was unfortunately time to leave Anaheim behind. While I'd only found 2 of my targets, once I flew back home it would be much easier to buckle down and find our remaining 2 mascots. Back in Ohio, with the possibility of finding shiny Fennekin during Worlds out of the picture, I switched up our strategy a bit. Instead of hatching each egg as we received it, I decided to begin storing them in the PC. Once I had a couple hundred eggs stored, I shipped off to Centrico Plaza to hatch eggs while enjoying the sight of an unexploded Prism Tower. Sure hope nothing bad happens to that anytime soon. One optimization for this hunt that was too unwieldy to use at the event was the use of other 3DS systems to broadcast the hatching O-Power to our main game via the PSS to speed up egg hatching even further. Broadcasting O-Powers like this uses much less energy than applying them onto ourselves, allowing us to have a near constant stream of hatching power while we search for shiny Fennekin. Let's go. Okay, so it was in box 2. We just farmed a bunch of extra eggs for nothing, I guess. But instead of immediately calling the hunt there, now that we've identified the shiny egg, instead we can reset to before it hatched, preserving its shininess as that was determined when we picked it up, while allowing us to hatch it somewhere else. Interestingly enough, Kalos specifically features unique Met locations for each of the Elite Force chambers, meaning if we hatch our shiny Fennekin egg there, we can get a Met location completely unavailable to wild Pokemon. Of the 4, the obvious pick is Malva's room. So taking our known shiny egg to the Kalos League building and spending quite a while circling Malva's room, we can obtain a shiny Timer Ball Fennekin met at the extremely thematic Blazing Chamber. Funnily enough, the only way out of this building from here is to defeat Diantha and earn the Kalos Champion ribbon, but we'll cover that when we get to ribboning the rest of our shinies. With our last mascot Jigglypuff, I had a few ideas on where we could hunt it. The first idea that came to mind was to hunt the Fixed Terra water spawn in South Province Area 3. This one is interesting because Jigglypuff doesn't normally spawn in this province, making this a unique Met location for it outside of eggs. Hunting Overworld Terra Pokemon is also a little odd and not often seen when shiny hunting elsewhere in Paldea is so easy. As fixed symbol encounters, they are strangely immune to the Shiny Charm or Sparkling power, And like with fixed alphas like Machoke, these spawns will normally have already been rolled when you enter the area. Unlike Machoke, however, they can't be rerolled simply by leaving the area and coming back. Overworld Terra Pokemon and other fixed symbol encounters instead won't reroll their shininess until they're taken off the map by defeating or capturing them, and then respawn, which will happen after a full day of time has passed in the Switch's internal clock. Like with Machoke, we can save with all of the conditions met for Jigglypuff to respawn, such that whenever we restart the game, it will immediately spawn and give us another shiny roll. This brings us to our third idiosyncrasy with these fixed Terra spawns. Sometimes they just don't. For no discernible reason and seemingly at random, an overworld Terra Pokemon that is due to respawn and has done so multiple resets before will simply wink out of existence rather than reappear. Or even stranger, their incandescent aura will stay on the overworld with nary a Jigglypuff to be seen. Because of this, after only 400 resets and some number of Jigglypuff fewer than that, I decided to switch up our strategy. One of my favorite ways to make a Ribbon Master from the modern Switch games more special is to hunt for an interesting mark. While Overworld Terra Pokemon are more likely to be eligible for the Jumbo mark, it's far from guaranteed. Instead, I decided to hunt Jigglypuff in a very familiar spot near Cortondo's Olive Roll field. By using a trick where you have two switches connect in a union circle and view the map on one of them while the host keeps clicking OK on the date menu, you can respawn outbreaks extremely quickly, and using Encounter Power Fairy will increase the chance that we get a Jigglypuff outbreak if it spawns in this area. With 60 Jigglypuff from the outbreak knocked out, a Sparkling Power 3 sandwich, and a Shiny Charm to boot, we have 8 rolls per spawn for a shiny Jigglypuff, giving us an approximately 1 in 512 rate to find those rare green peepers. Positioning ourselves in a specific spot within this corridor between the field and the nearby cliffs allows us to have only a handful of spawners active, enough to be completely covered by any outbreak that happens to spawn in this area. With the Switch 2's increased spawn cap, this allows us to completely blanket the area in Jigglypuff, and with the upgrade from the Blueberry Academy Photography Club, we can pick out which shinies bear a mark. I didn't have a particular mark in mind for our Ribbon Master Jigglypuff, figuring that I'll settle for one of the rarer categories like a personality mark, or maybe one of the rarer weathers like rainy or stormy. Oh. Get out of there. Didn't despawn. There's a radius around the Cortondo Olive Roll field where Pokemon just don't render, and it seems to be larger on Switch 2. Classic. Okay, so I didn't see that that one was shiny. I was just trying to turn around. I didn't see that this one was shiny until after Akira bike slid into its face. There's another shiny, a marked shiny. The reason Haley's Tangrowth sparkles is because it is met in a lovely place. Hatch something in Rotom's room. I unfortunately did, and it doesn't count. Hatched Pokemon don't count as being met in those locations. So this Rotom Mo is hatched in Rotom's room. All of my non-shiny Rotoms are. Oh, hey, there's that Rainy Mark Jigglypuff we were talking about earlier. Now, the Rainy Mark was one that I called out as being one of the rarer weather marks that I might be inclined to keep, but it actually got me thinking. On Friday afternoon while I was walking back to the resort, I ended up taking a wrong turn and ended up walking an extra mile to get to the north side entrance in the Anaheim heat. This memory, combined with the Rainy Mark, made me think of one of the few marks I still haven't obtained on a shiny Pokemon, the Dry Mark. For some reason, despite having a massive desert in the middle of it, the weather in Paldea never turns intensely sunny. And as such, Pokemon here never have the opportunity to spawn with the Dry Mark, making it currently exclusive to the Galar region. Luckily for us, Jigglypuff does spawn in Sword and Shield, but a Dry Mark shiny Jigglypuff is going to be much rarer than our current Rainy Mark frontrunner. Not only does the lack of tidal power from sandwiches deprive us of half our rolls for a mark, but without the additional rolls from the outbreak and sparkling power, our shiny rate jumps up to about 1 in 1365, with the shiny charm being our only remaining reliable boost. There is a separate mechanic called Brilliant Pokemon which have this glowing yellow aura about them that can increase our shiny rate further to about 1 in 455. Which sounds really awesome until you realize you don't fully maximize that bonus until you've fought and defeated 500 of a specific species. But at least once you put in all that legwork, the Brilliant Pokemon are easy to find, right? Nope! For visible overworld spawns, they cap out at a measly 3% to spawn as Brilliant Pokemon, diluting those extra shiny rolls to the point of a fun bonus at best and near irrelevance at worst. The last mechanic that we can get some use out of with this hunt is Pokédex recommendation. Every day in Sword and Shield, if you either haven't completed your Pokédex or have registered every single species, up to 4 Pokemon will be recommended to catch. These recommendations give an approximately 12.5% chance of forcing an encounter with that species, first flipping a coin to see if it should choose one of the 4 recommendation slots, and then forcibly encountering that species if it's available to spawn. These boosts apply no matter where you are in Galar. For example, with Phoebus recommended on Route 2, not only does it boost the spawn rate up to about 13% there, but the Phoebus and Balamir Lake in the Crown Tundra also jump up to about 17%. Pokédex recommendations will also focus on selecting Pokemon the player has yet to add to their Pokédex, so it's possible to force specific species to spawn as recommendations by catching everything else on a fresh save file. And if the Pokédex has been completed to the last Pokemon, it will simply pick a random location and pull 4 random species that spawn there. Lastly, if the date has been altered the wrong way, the current recommendations will remain in place, so we'll have to do some raid den date skipping shenanigans to re-roll them, and then intentionally set the date wrong to both lock in our current recommendation, as well as keep the weather set to intense sunlight. Once we have our dex recommendation for Jigglypuff on Challenge Beach, we can head to the Fields of Honor, where its visible encounter spawn rate is boosted from 32% to about 40.5%. With no more optimizations to be made, all that's left is to find our nearly 1 in 27,000 shiny Drymark Jigglypuff. Oh! That was really fast. That is not our target. Oops, whoops. Alright, let's see if this is our Drymark shiny. The 5% chance. Not marked. What starter am I thinking? I was thinking Brout might be the least popular, and thus I like to pick the least popular one if there is a clear front runner least popular, just because people tend to value eggs of the starters that they don't have, and oh, there's our first shiny Jigglypuff. Right after a Brilliant, not a Brilliant itself. I'm gonna use my Dream Ball here. Even if this isn't the Drymark shiny, that's okay. Oh, right, hold on. When it adds to your party is when it writes the met date, so I'm gonna do this real quick. But is it Drymark? Whoa. Okay. Okay. I legitimately was like, I was preparing to be like, oh, not Drymark, we go again. Alrighty. I'm super glad I decided to do this hunt today and pivot off of Fire Red Leaf Green Scyther. Somehow having found our final and by far rarest target in only 2 phases, one of which was just from me accidentally slamming into a shiny Klefki, we've now collected all 4 of our shiny mascot targets, which means now it's time to turn them into Ribbon Masters. We'll start with Nora the Sandshrew, as she has the most work to get done being from the earliest generation of the bunch. In Generation 4, the only ribbons that don't make a return appearance later are the Legend Ribbon, the 20 Super Contest Ribbons, and finally the 6 Battle Tower Ribbons. Starting off with the Legend Ribbon, this one is easily obtained by defeating Lance to respawn Red on Mount Silver, and making our way up to the summit and defeating Red awards us the ribbon to our entire party. Trading back to the Sinnoh region, the 20 contest ribbons take about 10 minutes each, taking roughly 3 hours to complete. As for contest stats, I use a blend of the remaining high-level Poffins I made years ago, supplemented by those available from the basement of the Veilstone department store. While this doesn't give us full perfect contest stats, with a blue scarf or yellow scarf respectively, they're more than enough to earn all 8 red hearts up for grabs in each visual round. For contest moves, our usual suite of effects returns, with Protect to score high on a low voltage judge, Swords Dance to double our score next turn, Rapid Spin to earn 4 hearts when going first, and Natural Gift to earn 4 hearts going last. This allows us to reliably score 4 hearts each turn, and sweep all the contests with little issue. Last up for Sandshrew is the Gen 4 Battle Tower, with 6 ribbons each requiring between 7 and 49 battles each. This is one of the most grueling battle facilities for any Ribbon Master, and this time around we'll start with the Double Ability Ribbon, which I've had consistent success in earning with the team that was featured on the Smogon leaderboards that's reached over 3,000 wins, featuring level 2 Focus Sash Endeavor Togetic and Trick Room Bronzong, baiting attacks into Togetic and slashing their HP with Endeavor to gain a game-winning advantage early on. After winning a set of 7 battles and with our win streak above 50, we earned the Double Ability Ribbon on Sandshrew without too much difficulty. Next, I decided to take on the other challenge offered from the center attendant, the Singles Tower. Unlike the other tower, there's no way to pregame these battles, as Palmer will only ever appear at specifically Battle 21 or 49. And unlike the other towers, we have to win the 7th battle of the set to obtain the respective ribbon. My main team for this has long been Garchomp, Suicune, and Metagross, with Garchomp often able to crush entire teams with Outrage while the others work to defeat opponents that can handle Garchomp. The lead up to Battle 49 is a bit nerve-wracking, as we have to battle with one hand tied behind our back running a level 15 Sandshrew instead of Metagross. There aren't many teams that can take down Garchomp and Suicune, but the fact that there is a non-zero number like Cursed Water-Absorbed Lapras always has me nervous. Thankfully, we make it to Battle 21 and 49 without issue, and earn Nora her Ability and Great Ability ribbons. The Wi-Fi Tower is next, which is a nice reprieve from the usual grind as this one is pretty much guaranteed. By connecting to the Pokemon Classic Network servers and bringing a specific team of Gengar and Frostlass with Destiny Bond, we can enter Rank 4 Room 2 and face off against 7 trainers who are using the exact same strategy. This exploits the AI's aversion to using Sucker Punch to win the mirror match, and guarantee we rank up to Rank 5. And upon doing so, Nora receives the World Ability Ribbon. The Link Multi-Tower follows much the same pattern as Doubles, but with the added benefit that we can now focus down one opposing trainer and turn the battle into a 2v1. Unfortunately, while I had a streak above 50 wins in this tower, the most annoying possible thing happened to us. While fighting my way through a set of 7, the DSs somehow lost connection while sitting right next to each other. This wouldn't normally be a problem, as losing in the multi-tower above 50 wins should still give us a ribbon. But for some sadistic reason, if the connection drops, it not only resets your streak to 0, but doesn't even give you credit for the streak you just lost. Meaning despite having done more than 50 wins in a row, they go completely uncredited and we have to rebuild our entire streak again from scratch. So hoisting ourselves all the way back up to Battle 56, we can actually claim the Parability Ribbon that we rightfully earn. Last up in these games is the Multi-Ability Ribbon, infamous for forcing us to put our life in the hands of an AI partner. It should be telling how much of an inconsistency spike this tower presents when you consider that while the leaderboard records for the singles and doubles towers stretch into the 4 digits, the multi-tower record barely scrapes past 100. Taking a page out of the current record holder Magpie's book, I decided to RNG a Heatran as it complements Latios's weaknesses perfectly. RNGing a fixed encounter like this in Gen 4 is pretty simple, as after verifying we're on the seed we're looking for with coin flips, we just listen to Chatot cries to advance the RNG to a state where initiating an encounter will result in a perfect IV Modest Heatran. Latios and Heatran have one duty: target down one side of the opponent's field and wipe them out as quickly as possible. Getting the battle to a 2v1 like this drastically improves our odds to succeed. On the other hand, it's imperative that we avoid being reduced to a 2v1 on our end, or at least fix it very quickly as soon as it happens, as no matter how good your team is here, it will fall apart quickly when your opponents get to take twice as many turns as you do. Of course, with the battle facilities being the way that they are, sometimes we ultimately have to put our faith in our AI partner. Okay. 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 Please bring this down to a 1v1. Thank you. Okay. Well, that was terrifying. Let's not do that again. Reaching Battle 49, I replaced Heatran with Nora. While I didn't expect to finish out the entire set with even more handicaps placed on our shoulders, even just winning one battle here would get us to 50, and secure our multi-ability ribbon. Yet by some miracle, by drawing the opponent's aggro and stalling as long as possible with Protect, we sail clear past Battle 56 and preserve our win streak for another day, claiming our 27th and final ribbon of Generation 4. As Nora travels through the Unova region on her way to Generation 6, we might as well stop by PokeStar Studios to earn the Movie Star status. Our film of choice this time is Mystery Doors of the Magical Land 1, with the strange ending requirement being to simply lose the battle. Doing so causes Bellelba to realize she doesn't want such a weak trainer in her magical realm, and suggests we go train with some nameless strong black-haired trainer she happens to know. Once we're out of the theater, we can send Nora out into battle to see her new star status, right before it's tossed by the wayside as she moves into Generation 6. Now that Nora's caught up with Fennekin, our first ribbon here in the 3DS era can be obtained by defeating Diantha to earn the Kalos Champion ribbon. Fennekin had no choice but to earn this being born in the Kalos League building, so after another run through the league, Sandshrew earns hers as well. With no other ribbons exclusive to Kalos, after a quick trade, both of them can similarly earn the Hoenn Champion ribbon by defeating Steven and Omega Ruby. This leads nicely into our next ribbon for both Fennekin and Sandshrew, the Footprint ribbon. Having easily met the requirement of having gained 30 levels after tagging along through 2 Elite Fours worth of battles, Sandshrew and Fennekin can get the ribbon from this man in the Battle Resort for being level 31 and 45 respectively. Speaking of the Battle Resort, our next 2 ribbons are the Skillful and Expert Battler ribbons, available from the nearby Battle Mason. For a while now in this facility, I've been using a team of Aeron and Aromatisse that works very similar to the Togetic team we used back in Generation 4. Exploiting the AI's bloodthirst for KOs to bait them into attacking Aeron, allowing us to set up Trick Room and then start taking KO after KO while they wail against Aeron's Sturdy and Berry Juice combo. The best part of this strategy is that it only needs 2 Pokemon to defeat Battle Shadowlane Evelyn, allowing us to bring 2 Ribbon Masters in the back to receive their ribbons. Continuing the trend of ribbons these two can earn together, we'll fly to Mauville City to speak with Ribbon Bell, an NPC who gives daily ribbons to our entire party and also doesn't care when we mess with the clock. Speaking with her 7 times interlaced with time traveling to the next day, we can earn our Alert, Shock, Downcast, Careless, Relax, Snooze, and Smile ribbons. Also located in Mauville is Ritzy Ribbon Retail, which will sell us the allegedly exclusive Ribbon Syndicate ribbons for a total price of a mere 1,109,999 per Ribbon Master. Using the battle points we received from conquering the Battle Mason and combining them with battle points that we've passively accrued in Pokemon Bank allows us to buy 224 proteins, which can be sold for 4,900 each. After laundering our money through the vitamin market, we walk away with surprisingly little cash in our pocket and 6 new ribbons on our Pokemon. Next up, while they can't earn it simultaneously, both Fennekin and Sandshrew need to earn the training ribbon here since they didn't see fit to reprise any of the Kalos ribbons in Legends ZA. As a corollary, after grinding special attack EVs on Fennekin, attack on Sandshrew, and speed on the both of them, we can make a pit stop in Slateport City to obtain the effort ribbon. While that ribbon returns in pretty much every game after this, fully EV training here is also so we can obtain the fully trained status and by extension unlock the last 12 super training regiments. After clearing those alongside the first 18 with both Nora and Fennekin, we can fly to Dewford Town and obtain the training ribbon. With Nora able to obtain the 6 contest master ribbons in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, Fennekin will be flying solo through the 5 contest categories with a page lifted straight out of the Generation 3 contest playbook, Rest and Snore. While not a high-scoring juggernaut of a combo like it once was, its universality among movesets makes it an easy choice when the perfect contest stats can do the majority of the heavy lifting, allowing us to breeze through the Master Ink contest so long as Lysia and Ally stay far away from us. On that topic, while she's here in Hoenn, we can use the No-Sheen Pokeblocks available here to perfect Nora's contest stats as well. With his Toughness Master and Contest Star ribbons obtained, both Fennekin and Sandshrew are ready to fly out to the Alola region. With Generation 7 having comparatively few ribbons to earn, it won't be long before Nora and Fennekin join the other mascots on the Switch. But before they can do so, they have 4 more ribbons exclusive to the Alola region. The first being as simple as it ever is, the Alola Champion ribbon is earned by defeating the Elite Four in whichever random challenger the game serves up for us this time. Fun fact, these games are the first in the series to not send you to the credits every time you win the championship match, so that's neat. Makes me wonder if there's an NPC who's booby-trapped to play the credits somewhere in Alola like there is in Lumiose. Once we're back at the entrance, we'll take Charizard over to Akala Island for our next challenge, the Battle Royal. To earn the Battle Royal Master Ribbon, we just have to win a single Master Rank Battle Royal with each of our Ribbon Masters. This mode is basically just fishing for favorable matchups, trying to take KOs where we can while hoping the opponents don't have a super effective move they'd rather hit us with. Winning one match with Sandshrew in the back and one with Fennekin gives us our second ribbons in Alola. And the last 2 ribbons are unsurprisingly another set of Battle Facility ribbons, this time in Alola's Battle Tree. For the Battle Tree Great Ribbon, we can cruise through the normal mode with a level 100 Latios destroying our competition, as there is only a level cap or species restriction for the opponents, but not the player. Stomping Blue at Battle 20 here earns us the Battle Tree Great Ribbon and forces us to move on to the Super Double Battle Challenge. Reprising their role from Generation 6, Aron and Aromatisse are once again the go-to cheese team for this format. As backup, we have Torkoal, who is a great Trick Room sweeper and foil to the myriad hail teams that infest the tree. And last up, we have Jellicent, who serves a near-identical role to Aromatisse, having Trick Room and a spread attack in the form of Water Spout. Jellicent is honestly a great substitute for Aromatisse if you're looking to build this team but don't have access to Spritzy, as it's weirdly rare on the 3DS, only being found natively in Pokemon Y without a friend safari. And even then it still requires a trait evolution. As one last optimization, we'll play in Ultra Moon rather than Ultra Sun, purely because every 10 battles we're forced to fight a named NPC trainer, and certain spots in the pool are version exclusive between the 2 games. The Ultra Moon exclusives are much more manageable for our team, as Kiawe has his Mega Kangaskhan with priority multi-hit sucker punches, Plumeria has a Mega Gengar that makes pivoting a nightmare, and Cena has a Hail team featuring Mega Abomasnow, who can simply Mega Evolve the turn we bring in Torkoal and immediately set the weather back to Hail. Their replacements, Mallow, Guzma, and Dexio are much less threatening for Aron. And while not foolproof, this team is more than consistent enough to reach Battle Legend Blue and claim the Battle Tree Master Ribbon, and our last ribbon of the 3DS era. The Switch era is one of divisions, and so unfortunately Fennekin will have to wait in the car as Sandshrew finally joins our other shiny mascots in Sword and Shield. But first, we'll take a brief detour to rejoin Machoke in the Hisui region. Since there's only one ribbon here, we'll get it out of the way real quick before moving on to the rest of the Switch games. After asking to prepare Machoke for a photo in Jubilife Village, the Hisui ribbon is invisibly added to his data, even though he won't actually be able to display it as the Machop line was excluded from Scarlet and Violet for ability patch fissure related crimes. Before moving out, we can use a linking cord to evolve him into Machamp. Curiously, one detail about Shiny Machoke you'll never be able to unsee is that its belt features a blue P, but it changes back to red after evolving. Moving out of Hisui, the ribbons in Galar are all fairly simple. Starting off with our Galar Champion ribbon, this one introduces the idea of a random roster of opponents, but that doesn't mean it's any more difficult than the other Champion ribbon. While we can invite a trainer to fight in the tournament, there's no guarantee that we'll be paired against them. But as a pleasant surprise this time around, we end up fighting our invitee Piers in the first round. I like to invite him because he doesn't Dynamax and waste time with the extra cutscene, but it's not like an additional 10 seconds if we don't end up fighting him is any sweat. And staying in Winden, we can go to the Galar Battle Tower to earn the Tower Master Ribbon. This is the most lenient of all the battle facilities, so much so that we can do 9 battles with a fully stacked team of Calyrex, Tapu Lele, and Kyogre. And then right before Leon is due to make an appearance, we can leave and pile our Ribbon Masters onto the team. Even if we lose to Leon here, we can literally just reset with no penalty and try again. Luckily, there's little he can do to stop our Horse Barrage, and we can claim the Tower Master Ribbon on Sandshrew, Machamp, and Jigglypuff. The last ribbon introduced here in Galar is the Master Rank ribbon, which we can easily earn on all 3 team members by queuing in the nearly empty Galar Rank ladder. Because I reached Master Rank in doubles before everyone left, my rank has been maintained as Sword and Shield no longer updates to new seasons. This allows me to send out a ping in the ribbon collecting Discord and ask someone to queue at the same time and then forfeit, giving the ribbon to everyone in our battle team. The same thing is about to happen to the Paldea ranked ladder in April, so consider this your wake-up call to get yourself into Master Rank if you're interested in earning the ribbon before everyone moves on to Champions. Before we move out of Galar, we have one last stop in Hammerlock to make curry with Machamp. As the only one of this group unable to go to Paldea, the easiest place to earn his best friend's ribbon is here in Galar. Once he's had enough curry to max out his friendship, we can talk to this boy in a house near the Pokemon Center to earn the ribbon. Once again returning to the Sinnoh region, we have plenty of work to do. First up on the agenda is once again another champion ribbon. Lately, I've been using this Palkia set put together by Psychic J that has enough coverage to get each Elite Four fight done in relatively short order. Getting each fight done as efficiently as possible is a bit tricky when you have to cover both bulky Pokemon like Bronzong as well as fast but frail Focus Sash users, but Palkia manages it just fine, earning us the Sinnoh Champion ribbon as well as another champion sticker for use in contests. On that topic, we have 3 Pokemon to prepare for the gauntlet of rhythm games that are the BDSP contests. To start, we'll use our usual recipes to prepare a set of perfect stat Poffins for Machamp and Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff even counts as a cute Pokemon and is permitted to accompany us into Amity Square to blend Poffins. Once we max out their stats with some of the best possible Poffins, it's time to max out their sheen with some of the worst possible. Taking a handful of event berries to the Poffin house and letting them burn horrendously for a whole minute results in these 50 plus smoothness Poffins that are perfect for raising our sheen. As for the matter of choosing our contest move, Machamp can use the ever reliable Giga Impact, and while Sandshrew and Jigglypuff don't get access to that move because they're not fully evolved, they do get access to Focus Punch, which has an identical effect and can be easily taught via craftable TM in Paldea and retained while moving through Pokemon Home using the moveset tool. Combining the perfect contest stats, the ideal contest move effect, and my sick rhythm game skills makes all 6 Master Rank contests a breeze, earning us the 5 Contest Master Ribbons, the Contest Star Ribbon, and the Twinkling Star Ribbon on all 3 Pokemon. The remaining ribbons are ones that Sandshrew has already earned. Starting with the Effort Ribbon with the vitamin cap lifted, it's an ironically effortless matter to feed 53 vitamins to both Machamp and Jigglypuff and take them to an Effort Ribbon giver. Speaking of vitamins, we can use a very similar trick to the stunt we pulled in Generation 6, converting home points into BP, buying vitamins in the Battle Park, and selling them to finance our Gorgeous, Royal, and Gorgeous Royal ribbons. Annoyingly, because the remakes are so faithful, the money cap has been lowered back down to 999,999. Making it impossible to buy all these ribbons in one visit. After a few rounds of flying to the Ribbon Syndicate, buying the ribbons, selling vitamins, and flying back, we have the whole set on both Pokemon. Next up is the BDSP version of the daily ribbons, and infamously, Julia is the stingiest she's ever been in these games. Not only will she only give you 1 daily ribbon per day, she will detect any and all time travel and refuse to give you another ribbon for 24 hours. I see you, Ilka, patching the 1159 time travel trick in these remakes, but not the sticky hold bug. Luckily, there is one form of time travel the developers didn't account for, sending our save file to another Switch entirely. For whatever reason, if you send your entire BDSP save file to a new console with a different date, you will not be penalized for time travel. I'm not entirely sure why this works, but this is a handy tool for those of you looking to reset daily swarms or spawn Drifloon. Unfortunately, this doesn't work for shortcutting honey trees, as those have their own internal timer instead. For our purposes, this means by sending our save file back and forth while forwarding the date on each switch by a day, we can collect the 7 daily ribbons in a single sitting. Perhaps this truly is the most faithful remake after all. Immediately contradicting that statement, our last ribbon in these games is the Footprint Ribbon, which has been changed to be like in Gen 6 and requires us to level up at least 30 times. This is partially why I decided to not do Massive Mass Outbreak permutations for our shiny Alpha Machamp, as Alpha Machoke found in MMOs spawn at above level 70 because they don't evolve via level up. While I could have avoided this by permuting a shiny Alpha Machamp instead, the soft reset method ended up being a lot easier. Getting Machamp to level 70 and Jigglypuff to level 90, Dr. Footstep deems their footprints to be top quality, and thus awards them the Footprint Ribbon, finishing Jigglypuff's Sinnoh ribbons and fully completing Machamp's, earning him the title of Ribbon Master. Moving on to our last Switch game with ribbons, Scarlet and Violet sees Fennekin rejoin our party, and this will basically be a retread of all the ribbons and marks that Toadschool earned. To start, we'll revisit a ribbon that we skipped multiple times on Sandshrew, the Best Friends ribbon. The reason for earning it here is threefold. First, making sandwiches is easily the cheapest and fastest way to raise friendship available on the Switch. Reason 2 is that we need at least 200 friendship to earn the partner mark. So while we could have easily earned this ribbon in Alola with rainbow beans, I'd still have to raise our friendship here in Paldea. Lastly, there's the 3 in 101 drop rate for the Gourmand mark from before with every sandwich we eat, which to be fair, it's not the end of the world if we don't get it in the half dozen or so sandwiches we make here, but it's a nice bonus if we can land it. On that topic, once we've picked up our Best Friends ribbon from the woman in Cascarafa, we'll take a brief vacation to Kitakami to chow down on as much shaved ice and candied lepa berries as it takes to obtain the easiest of the earnable marks on Nora, Fennekin, and Jigglypuff. Since he wasn't able to go to Galar, Fennekin will need to earn his Master Rank ribbon from the Paldea ranked ladder. Funnily enough, this was done during Paldea's short-lived Regulation J, where mythical Pokemon were temporarily legal. So Fennekin now technically has a non-zero win rate and usage rate alongside Arceus and Miraidon. Our second easiest to earn mark is up next, with the 1 in 100 drop rate item finder mark. I really do wish this worked in Synchro mode, as it would be so much easier to directly run between each item instead of chaperoning our Pokemon to each sparkle on the ground. Regardless, the Paradise Barrens in Kitakami, the rivers around Fellhorn Gorge, and the Terrarium Savanna biome are all gold mines for items to pick up, and in relatively short order we can have the mark on all 3 of our Ribbon Masters. Before setting up for the last mark, we'll take a quick detour to earn the last ribbon, the Paldea Champion Ribbon. Like Galar, our opponents are random from a pool of potential trainers, but it doesn't really matter who we face as we can destroy any Pokemon with an unresistible Terra Stellar Choice Specs Terra Starstorm. With our last ribbon acquired on Fennekin, Jigglypuff, and Sandshrew, the final mark we need is the one that we struggled to get all the way back during Worlds, the Partner Mark. The main culprit of why I have over 1,000 hours logged in Pokemon Violet. Strapping ourselves in for one last night of spinning in circles in Cortondo's Olive-Roll Field, much like we did with Toad School, after only one night, our mascot Ribbon Masters come away with their partner marks, marking the end of their journeys and cementing their status as Ribbon Masters. And as such, we've successfully shiny hunted and ribbon mastered our Pokemon to celebrate the World Championships. Shout out to everyone I met and hung out with at Anaheim, and hopefully you'll be able to see me in some more Pokemon events in the future. But for now though, thanks to PokeDoku for letting me do today's puzzle, and thanks for watching.